Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Chloe Carmichael. Thank you so much for joining me for another video log where what I'm doing is I'm going through my blogs and reading them on video and talking about them a little bit too. And at least so some of you might just be listening to this on audio, or if you're watching it, it's just sometimes nicer to watch a video rather than read a blog. So while I do love reading, I also wanted to translate some of my blogs to just a more relatable human way of going through them. So the blog I'm going to go through today is my blog, the CARE, C-A-R-E blog, about going through difficult world events. And I actually wrote this blog in response to some questions that the media had posed about some terrorist events and how they were affecting people and how we could cope. And today I've chosen this blog because of the coronavirus. So I don't know when you will be watching this video. It could be in the future, and of course I don't know what will happen with the coronavirus, but today in New York City people are a little stressed, and it was actually on Nightline tonight, on ABC Nightline, talking about the coronavirus as well. So anyway, the CARE blog came to mind for this because the CARE acronym is about dealing with difficult world events. And it's a 4-step plan, as the name implies, C-A-R-E. And it's kind of a mindfulness-based approach. So in case you're watching this video and you actually don't know who I am, first of all, I want to thank you for watching and just give you a quick background that I'm a psychologist and I'm a former yoga teacher, so I'm really interested in meditation and how that we can, look at it from a psychological lens as well. So the CARE CARE approach to looking at difficult world events is a mindfulness-based approach, but it's also a lot of psychology. So what we do is the first step is to consider. A lot of us can get in denial, and if you see me looking down, I'm just looking at my notes. Those of you who have had private sessions with me know that that's what I'm always doing if I'm looking down, because I like to track what's going on. Anyway, so consider is the first step. So in CARE, C-A-R-E, the first step is to consider. Many of us will kind of go into denial around feelings about big stuff. And I work with a lot of high-functioning people, and a lot of times high-functioning people in particular, I think, can be very prone to denial because high-functioning people can be so good at just compartmentalizing, managing our feelings so that we can just keep going, that we can sometimes actually forget to really connect with our feelings around events. So if you're finding yourself just saying, oh, I'm stressed about, this such and such difficult world event, whichever one it is, when you happen to be watching this video, as I mentioned for us right now, I think it's coronavirus, and I wrote the blog originally in response to some terrorism events. But in either case, and I think in many cases of difficult world events, the first step is to make sure that you really allow yourself to consider what you're feeling. That could be anxiety, it could be anger, it could be fear, it could, be isolation, depending on the world event. But whatever it is, they can be some difficult feelings to face. Sometimes also, if it's the case of anxiety, just to kind of prime the pump of some feelings about things, you can also challenge yourself to think of a few different even synonyms. For anxiety, we might say, worry, fear, panic. Sometimes people use anxiety as a catch-all. So if you're struggling to really consider your feelings, one way is to think of synonyms, and another way is to check an emotional vocabulary list. I have one on my website, I think drchloe.com/emotions. There's several that I have for free, actually not even created by me, that I've just shared from other people that have made them, and I think that they are really great emotion wheels and emotion vocabulary lists. So I do have them posted to my website for free, just citing other people's work if you ever want to check them out. So the CARE blog, the first step is to really consider what you're feeling. The second step, the A, is to act. And this is a really good thing to do, to take action if you're feeling some kind of a strong emotion. After you've considered the emotion, a lot of times it can guide you to do something, and that doing something could be anything from getting a massage and taking a rest to attending a rally or, making a donation. Of course, every situation will be different, but sometimes when we're feeling a strong emotion, it's actually almost like a form of information, and it can help us think about what does that emotion want and what's a healthy action to take. Sometimes when we end up with extra stress, it actually has to do with unaddressed emotion. So it's a funny thing for me as a psychologist. Sometimes people will come and they'll say, I need help managing my emotions, like teach me how to just keep them in check. And sometimes for some people, the answer is actually, rather than trying to keep your emotions in check, ask them what they want. Try to understand what is the passion, so to speak, that your emotions are trying to put forward to you. And that doesn't mean you have to do the first thing that comes to mind, but sometimes just paying attention to the emotions, ironically, is what helps to put them in check. So sometimes we have to really just make sure we're listening to the emotions and connecting with them. Sometimes that's true, especially for those of us who might have a fast-moving life and actually be able to manage a lot. Sometimes the more that we can manage, the more the emotions can accrue, so to speak. So let's see. Number 3, CARE is the acronym, and the letter R is for reflect. So once you've taken action, and obviously it's a multi-step process, you don't have to do it all in a day, but once you've taken action, I encourage you to reflect. And the action does not have to have been necessarily the best one in retrospect. So I encourage you to really reflect after you've taken some action. Ask yourself if it worked, if it felt positive, if it felt negative, how did it affect you, how did it affect others, and really be open without judgment. So the only way you'll really be able to allow yourself to learn from possible missteps is to just be open and be willing to say positive or negative, whether it worked or not. The good thing is that I did an action. I tried something. At least now I know it doesn't work. And you can return to your previous brainstorm of possible actions under A and try something else, refine your approach. But either way, you're making progress. And then the E in the CARE system is for ease. So once you have considered, acted, reflected, give yourself permission to take a little break from the issue. Sometimes you just need to go through life and, move on, get a little distance, at least temporarily, if you're under some kind of a difficult world event. Limiting your usage of social media or other things, even just as an 8-hour fast or whatever you need in order to give yourself a break from the issue. You don't have to, but I just encourage you to consider taking a break after you've considered, acted, and reflected. But it's also perfectly okay if you do consider easing and then say to yourself, nope, I'm not ready to ease. I need to consider, I need to act and reflect more. Of course, that's perfectly fine. But sometimes people just also need permission to realize that sometimes it's okay to just take a break, and sometimes it's even healthy to do that. So speaking of taking a break, I'm going to wrap up here, but I want to thank you for watching my video log. As I mentioned, I'm making video logs of all or most of my blogs, and I hope you will check it out online. You can see drchloe.com/blog if you want to read them. And of course, drchloe.tv is my YouTube channel, and I'm growing all the time, trying to add more stuff. I also like Instagram and Twitter. I'm at drchloe, DRCHLOE_. So anyway, thanks for watching. I hope that you enjoyed what you learned. Feel free to share, retweet, leave comments, etc. I really enjoy interacting. Thank you.